We have all done this. You open up an app and you ask it, okay, find out the best coffee shops near me. Or you open up Yelp and then you ask, okay, find the restaurants near me. And then maybe you specify a radius that, okay, I want to find these restaurants within 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer based upon your range, correct? And suddenly you get all of the results. What is happening? This is known as a proximity service. And whenever you are creating apps that require this geographical information, it becomes very important to understand how does the backend of such a system looks like. In this particular video, we are gonna explore a lot of that. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you start to think about such an application, the basic need becomes very simple. You are a user and then you will open up some kind of an app, Google Maps or Yelp. And then you ask, okay, find the restaurants near me. Your location goes to the service and then immediately you get back all of the results. If you try to think about a high level design, it can look something like this. You are over here and then you make a request to a load balancer. This load balancer will distribute the request to a business service or to a search service. A business service is something where you want to add or remove businesses. This is gonna happen very rarely when compared to the search service. This is where you are actually trying to query the businesses, and this is a very read heavy operation. You have millions of reads in an hour or in a day, depending upon how popular the place is. If you are in a downtown area, you are gonna have a lot of searches within a second. And the business service is comparatively low because with this service, you are adding and removing businesses. All of this is gonna be backed by some sort of database where you store all the information and then you query it. So a high level, this feels very doable, right? You can just store all of the information in a database about a business. When a customer comes, you just scan this database and based upon the location, you just return them the results, correct? It feels very simple. But the problem comes because there are not just 8 businesses or 10 businesses. There are millions of businesses in the world. And you have to make this service very fast. You just query it and within 5 seconds, the results should appear. That is where all of the magic happens. Let us start to construct some basic idea and then we are gonna keep on evolving. So first of all, what you can do, you can start with a basic table that, okay, you are gonna provide every business some ID. It is gonna have a name and then you are gonna store the latitude and longitude location of that particular business. You go around and you find out all of the businesses. This is the easy part. You keep on assigning all of the businesses and the latitude and longitude location. Now, when a user comes in, they are standing at a particular location in the map. They query, okay, find the restaurants near me. And let us say they specify the range of about 5 kilometers. You have got the user's latitude and longitude location. Using a mathematical formula, you can find out all of the neighboring latitude and longitude locations within that radius. And then you can just run a brute force query over each of the row items and then maybe, okay, return all of the results. This is fine. But what happens when there are millions of rows? You cannot just think about scanning all of the columns, right? This is gonna take forever. So one approach that can come to your mind is, let us say these are all of your businesses. What you can do is, you can run a query to find out all of the businesses within a latitude range. And then you can run a query to find out all of the businesses within a longitude range. And then you prune out some of them, but you return these are your potential businesses which the customer wants. It feels that you may have solved the problem. But when you look at databases, finding this intersection, it can work fine if all of your businesses are spread evenly. But in a real world, the businesses are not this way. Some places will have a cluster of businesses, whereas some places do not have businesses at all. For example, take a look at this distribution. All of these businesses, they are spread rather evenly. And then when you run a near me query, it can work. You can run it efficiently and the results will be returned. But what happens in a real scenario? A real scenario looks something like this. You have so many businesses clustered in a single space. Then doing all of those intersections, doing those SQL queries can become very, very expensive. So the approach where we were trying to perform this intersection doesn't actually scale very nicely. And the requirement for your services, you have to return all of these results very, very fast. The question arises, what can you do about it? And that is where you start to improve your design. Come back to the table that we had created. You remember we had all of these businesses, correct? Now, you need a way by which you can make your queries very, very fast. So maybe you need to add some sort of an additional column that can help you immediately. When you think about data structures, one thing that comes to your mind is, okay, a hash map or some sort of a hash value that I can allocate to a business that can help me to speed up all of my operations. And this particular column is known as the index. This index is a value that you will assign to a business. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, this is your entire world map. Based upon your mathematical calculations, you can divide your entire map in a lot of grids. Notice that these are not the latitudes and longitudes. These are grids which you have mathematically computed. Now, what you can do is, for example, you have all of these businesses in a certain cell. Assign this particular number to your business. All of the businesses that are in this particular cell will get this number. So the idea now changes. As soon as a query pops up, then using that latitude and longitude, you find out mathematically what is that index number. And then based upon the range, you can find the delta. Like, okay, you determine that this is the cell 37. So you can return back all the results that are in the index 37 or 38 and 36, because these should all be the nearby services. So basically what I'm doing, I have now determined that I need an additional column that is gonna store the index. So now when I run my service, I'm standing over here, and then what do I return? I return a particular index. I return a particular grid. So I will get back all of these services or all of these businesses that are in my index. What we have done is, we have simplified our problem of 2 dimensions into just 1 dimension. And this database becomes very, very easy to index. And this method can make your query very, very fast. You're not going row by row. You're not looking at latitudes and longitude. You're just computing a certain index number and then looking up in your table. You just return all of these businesses that share the same index number. By using this method, you have solved a very critical part of the problem, that how can you make your queries faster. We will soon get to the part that how do you actually allocate all of these indexes. But for a moment, assume that you have a formula by which you can take a latitude and longitude and then convert it to some sort of an index. So how does your query look like right now? You have now populated your entire table, and notice that I have an index column that I have calculated from my latitudes and longitudes. Now, a user comes in, they are at a particular location. They ask, okay, find out the businesses near me. You use the same formula and then you get back an index 27. Okay. Now, instead of looking at the businesses, instead of looking at latitudes and longitudes, I have to look up this particular value in my database. Now, since it is a nearby service, I may need to look at 26 and I may need to look at 28 or 25. So I find out that these are all of the businesses which are very close to this particular index. So I immediately run my query and then return the result. Whatever distances are the closest from the latitudes and longitudes, I return them as the answer. Because in the initial query, I had my actual coordinates. So just by using the Cartesian distance, I can determine, okay, this is the closest, then this comes at number 2, and then this comes at number 3. So I have now optimized my query and I can return the results very, very fast. This is the entire system, how a proximity service backend actually works and how those indexes happen. But we are still missing a very critical part. How should I even make those indexes? How can I allocate them? There are actually two types of problem that we are trying to solve over here. The first problem is how do you actually divide your world map? And the second problem is how do you number them? Let me show you what do I actually mean. So currently, let us say this is your entire world map. If you do not do any sort of indexes, the entire world map is at, let us say, the value 0. This is your default case, which was problematic for us. What did you decide? That, okay, maybe I can divide the world into separate grids. Once I do this, you may say that, okay, this is index 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. But do you see the problem over here? How do you decide what should be 0, 1, 2, and 3? Should you label it like this? Or should you label it 0, 1, 2, 3? Or should you label it like 0, 1, 2, and 3? Because this scenario changes entirely when you have more and more grids. Think about this situation. You know that you will have to divide the entire world into millions and millions of grids. And the problem can become very, very worse. Because now when you have so many cells, what do? Do you divide all of the grids like this? It may seem like a feasible solution, but try to think. When a user comes at a particular latitude and longitude location and tries to find out, okay, tell me the nearby businesses around me. What did you do? You use their latitudes and longitude location to find out this index number. And then you took the delta of this. So for example, the result came as 3. You are gonna try to look at cell 3, cell 2 and cell 4. So okay, 2 seems nearby, but 4 is very far. So this way of numbering isn't very, very helpful. So should we number it something like this? It may work for certain areas, but again, it can fail for some of the others. Now, you are not just limited by this. There can just be so many ways to traverse all of these grids. You can also traverse it something like this, or you can also traverse and number your grids something like this. But all of these methods will have some sort of an other defect. So when it comes to proximity service and when it comes to allocating indexes on a geographical location, there are two approaches which are widely adopted, and those are known as the V-order and the Hilbert curve. So for example, take a look at this grid. Now, how can you traverse it? The V-order states that you traverse it something like this. You are forming a Z at every location. But again, the problem is when you look at index 7 and index 8, when you ran a query, your latitude and longitude resulted in the index 7. So okay, 5 and 6 are very, very fine. These are the nearby businesses. But is 8 nearby? No. So although this Z order is perfectly fine, it can result in some sort of false negatives. That is where you do the Cartesian distance and try to find out the answer, correct? This problem is solved by the Hilbert curve. Notice that I have the same 16 grids, but this time I'm traversing it in a different manner. And this is how I allocate all of the indexes. So once again, the user is at a particular location. And then the index pops up that, okay, they are at an index 6 this time. What are the nearby businesses? You will look at index 5, 7, and maybe 8. And notice that all of these are actually nearby. So the way you traverse all of your grid cells, that can determine how fast you are able to look up and how many false positives you may get. In the end, you may still need to actually find out the distance between the actual coordinates to determine the priority that, okay, this business is the nearest versus this is the farthest. So if you're looking at the top 10, just keep them and remove all of the other businesses. So now you know how can you traverse your entire grid and label each index to get a value. This can now be populated in your database and you can keep on making the queries. There is one major problem that we still have to address, and that is the density of businesses. You know that in a real world, you will have a lot of businesses, let's say in a downtown area. So it will look something like this. And if you notice, you have so many businesses over here and all the other businesses are very sparse. This is a real world scenario. If you try to make a uniform grid, what we have been doing up till now, then you see that all of these businesses are gonna get the same index allocated. So when you run your query, you may get a single number, and then once again, you get so many businesses to choose from. So our problem kind of comes back. Okay, again, I have to go through all of these businesses, find out the distances, and then return that, okay, these are the nearby businesses. So what can you do to solve it? This is where the concept of quad trees come in. What you do is you will keep on dividing the boxes which have more than one businesses. So look at it right now. You currently have 4 indexes, right? 0, 1, 2, and 3. Notice that this particular cell has more than one business, and this particular cell again has more than one business. So what you're gonna do is you are gonna again divide these cells into 4 parts. That is how the name quad tree comes in. And notice, this particular cell is now taken care of. Every cell does not have more than one business. And you can define whatever the criteria is based upon the density. But look at this particular cell. All of these 3 subcells are now solved for, but this still has a problem. So what will you do? Again apply the algorithm and then divide your businesses. So what happened now? Suddenly, you have now unique indexes for each of these small businesses. So you are just trying to fine grain your index based upon an algorithm. And this is where the quad tree algorithm shines in. And what do you do about it? Programmatically, how do these indexes look now? Initially, let us say when you divide it into 4 indexes, it came like 0, 1, 2, and 3. But you notice that index 2 has a lot of businesses, so you again divided. And now this can be 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, and then 2, 3. So this is how you're categorizing it. The same happens in the initial grid also. This becomes 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and then 0, 3. Since you divided 0, 0 into 4 more parts, it actually becomes very granular. So this becomes 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, and then 0, 0, 3. And this is how majority of the location-based databases work. No matter what method you choose to allocate your grids or trace your indexes, the core idea will always remain the same. Basically, you will have all of your businesses, you are gonna allot it an index value. When you run your query, try to compute that index value, look for that index value in your database, find some candidates instead of scanning the entire database, and then find out the actual distances. Return the indexes based upon either the rating or based upon the closest distance. You can also use a hybrid approach, and that is how your proximity service runs in a very fast manner. While going throughout this video, what was the part that fascinated you the most? Where do you think you can make improvements? What sort of a design would you like to implement? Tell me everything in the comment section below, and I would love to discuss all of it with you. If any of these concepts finally clicked and helped you to understand this proximity service better, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This really keeps me motivated and I can make more such videos. Also, a huge shout out to all of the members who support my channel. You guys really keep me going. As a member, you do get priority reply to your comments and early access to new videos as well. Stay tuned for my upcoming video. Until then, see ya.